Now, let's talk about Harris. You believe the data. She's starting to lose touch, but she's always a chance in a 50-50 race. She went on with The View. She was asked questions like, so what would you do differently than Biden's done for the past 4 years? She couldn't answer the question. By this time tomorrow, she will have done an interview with Brett Baer over on Fox News, but he's going to hit her harder than anyone's hit her in the entire campaign. If she couldn't do The View, how's she going to be able to do Fox?
The bar is low, and the left will declare this a victory if she doesn't walk away drooling. You know, she went into the lion's den and she did fine. You know, that's probably going to be the takeaway without having seen it yet. But yeah, the stakes are high for Brett. I've known Brett for 20 years. I mean, I've anchored countless hours of television with Brett and seen him do countless interviews. He's going to do fine. Brett's good. He's a mild-mannered guy, but he can be aggressive in an interview in a totally appropriate way. He never emerges with somebody's jugular, but I predict he will follow up with, the question was, madam, the question was, like, he's not going to let her just go on her little sojourns without reeling her back in. Come over here. I direct this interview. So I think we'll get that, which will be very satisfying. I definitely think he's going to ask her tough questions, you know, more pointed than we've heard in any other interview so far. And I think, thankfully, a lot of them will come from a perspective of what conservatives want to see her asked. That's been one of our big frustrations, right? All of her questions, even the ones that are mildly challenging, are basically being asked by leftists who are trying to figure out the way we want questions asked and what might satisfy us. You know, like that guy in 60 Minutes who was asking her about the border. Well, why didn't you do it sooner? Why didn't you do it sooner? That's fine. But what really needed to be asked was, why did you reverse all of Trump's executive orders tightening the border on day one of this administration? That's the real question. It's not, why didn't you pass a border bill earlier? It's like, why did you subvert the secure border from day one? I predict you will hear more pointed questions like that from Brett. The one frustration is, well, two frustrations. Number one, Fox News is going to want ongoing access to her, both for the next 3 weeks, and if this thing is like a sustained contest, in the month or two thereafter, and if she's elected, in the 4 to 8 years thereafter. So they do have to be mindful of not blowing it up entirely in one interview. And I'm sure that they represented to her that it would be respectful and fair, which it will be. So that's one thing they need to worry about. And the other thing is they only have 30 minutes. And once she gets filibustering, it's hard, especially if you're a man, to keep interrupting her. You know how she is. I'm speaking. Mr. Bear, I'm speaking. So to some extent, he's going to have to let her filibuster here and there and pick his moments of aggressively interrupting.
Now, as we get closer, 3 weeks to go, nothing is subtle anymore. We know that she's got some problems with black men. A significant percentage is going to vote for Trump. Majority will still vote for her. But what about her outreach program? Basically, free loans you don't have to pay back, and marijuana.
Because she stinks of desperation. That's why. She's desperate. They must have seen some horrifying information on those internal polls. There is no other reason to be this obvious in your pandering. I mean, the thing with the men is just so amusing to watch from afar. Truly, you can just see them with looking at their horrid numbers with men going, is there anyone here who's ever shot a bird or anything? Raise your hand if you've ever shot anything. Yeah, a pheasant? Yes, we'll take it. Okay, get out there. And then Tim Walz completely bumbles it. He can't even load his gun. All the real hunters are like, oh my God, that's horrifying. They can tell it's fake. They know this is a photo op. He, by the way, according to the reports, didn't even fire his weapon. Forget get a bird. He didn't get a bird. He didn't even fire his weapon one time. And I think men who they're trying to appeal to, who are hunters, they're seeing right through it. The thing with the black voters is so disgusting. You tell me what they would say about a white candidate, say Trump, who decided to appeal to black voters by being like, I'll legalize weed. I know what you people want. You want to be high all the time. I'll help you out. Oh, and by the way, I'll help you out on Bitcoin too, because what you like to do is get high and then make risky Bitcoin bets in the market. That's what I think of you. I'm like, what an insult, right? To the distinguished, well-educated, non-high drug population or black population out there that says, I don't do drugs. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I do know about your horrid economy. And I'd like you to speak to that, right? Her whole proposal assumes you have nothing and you need Mama Law to come in there and save you. It's just absolutely insulting. For me on the outside, it's fun to watch because she clearly doesn't know how to do it, and neither does her team. And that's nice for a change because usually the Democrats are very good at the pander. It's just time is short.